All right, good afternoon. This is the Delta Conveyance Design and Construction Authority Board of Directors meeting. It's Thursday, April 20th, 2023. And we're starting here at 1:30 because we are going to be going into closed session shortly. This is our first run at the new technology of some people remote having some public house possibly at their place. So hopefully all of the tech will go seamlessly. I know our folks have been working very hard on it, and we have, as far as teleconference locations, we've got Valley Water Headquarters Boardroom, Kern County Water Boardroom, and Long Beach Utilities Conference Room, as well as the room here at the DCA. So right now, I'm going to call the meeting to order, and could we please do a roll call?
Gladly. Good afternoon, everyone. So I'm going to start here in the room, and then I will move through the remote locations. So starting with President Palmer.
Sure.
Director Martin.
Present.
And from Kern County, Adnan, Director Adnan Awadabi.
I'm here.
Excellent, thank you. And Director Marty Millibar.
Here.
Excellent, thank you. And then we have Director Robert Chang down at Long Beach.
I'm here, Claudia.
Excellent, thank you. I don't see that alternate Director Keegan has joined the meeting. And calling Director Miguel Luna. All right, we have a quorum.
Have a quorum. Okay, great. Unfortunately, we have two folks absent at the moment, and hopefully they'll join us soon. Okay, so what we're going to do now is have the Pledge of Allegiance. Please join me. Oh, here it comes. There we go. Okay, round that way. Okay. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation,
Under God.
indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
John, we'd request that the alternate directors who are calling in be put on the record.
We have Director Royce Fast also, alternate.
Will be, so Director John, alternate Director John Weed, alternate Director Royce Fass, and then who else do we have? Who'll be here?
Alternate Director Tincher.
As present.
And alternate Director Lamoureux.
Right, then we're going to go into public comment. Members of the public may address the authority on matters that are within the authority's jurisdiction, but not on the agenda at this time. Speakers are generally limited to 3 minutes. However, the chair may further limit this time when reasonable based on the circumstances. Persons wishing to speak may do so remotely through the electronic meeting link by scanning the QR code or teleconference number when recognized by the chair, or of course, if they are here. So do we have anybody from the public who wishes to speak?
President Palmer, at this time, we have not received any comment, or any requests for comment.
Then, ladies and gents and others, we're going to now go into closed session. So those who are in the room may remain here in the room because we will go off into another little conference room.
For those joining us remotely, the link has been provided. Good afternoon. For those of you joining us online, closed session is still in session.
We're back. Okay, we have come out of closed session and we have nothing to report. So there we go. Thank you for your patience, everyone. And let me get back to my agenda. So I've got everything in here. Oh, okay. Now I have something kind of serious at this point. One of the members of the DCO passed this past month on April 4th, and he was a much loved member of the DCO. And this was Shanmugam, otherwise known as Praba Pirabarooban. And I believe, Graham, that you and Carrie perhaps have something to say about this, and he will be sorely missed.
Yes, thank you, President Palmer. Yeah, you're right. Praba we did lose Praba. it was a shocking and tragic incident, but his passing is something that has been a struggle for the DCA as well as the DCO. And so I just wanted to take this opportunity to acknowledge all that he contributed to the program. Prabha was a very good engineer and a very good person. And, we will miss him, as you said, sorely on the program. And my heart goes out to his family as well as to the DCO work family that he has. So I think I do intend to issue a letter to his family, just acknowledging his contributions and appreciation for that. But I wanted to take this minute and then I'll pass it over to Carrie.
Definitely has been a really big struggle the last few weeks. Prabha was a fantastic engineer. He was our lead engineer. He was innovative and creative and really very good at his job. But I'll say, in addition to being a great engineer, he was an even better person. He was kind and caring and always looked out for the best for his team. So this is really, we'll just miss him tremendously, both personally and professionally. And I appreciate you taking a minute to acknowledge him. Thank you.
I met him a few years ago and I was very impressed. He was just a delightful person and this is a huge loss. Does anyone else have anything they wish to say? No. Okay, let's just have a moment of silence for that.
President Palmer, is it possible that we could adjourn this meeting in memory of Prabha?
Absolutely. Absolutely. That's what we will do. Do remind me. Okay. Okay, let's just have a moment. Okay, thank you. And again, our thoughts go out to his family and friends. Okay, so let's get to the approval of the minutes of February 16th, 2023. Do we have any motion on this one or any changes anybody wants to bring out? None? Okay, do we have a motion to approve?
Who approved the minutes?
I'll second.
Great. Okay, then I guess since we have Zoom, we have to do a roll call on this one.
Gladly. President Palmer. Director Millibar. Director Martin,
Yes.
Director Luna,
Yes.
Alternate Director Keegan. Yes. Director Chang,
Aye.
Director Anaptawi. Are they still muted?
Kern County, can you please unmute?
Hi, Claudia. This is Kern County. Can you hear us?
We sure can.
Perfect. Thank you.
Okay, aye for Martin and
Yes.
Excellent. Thank you. Meeting minutes approved.
Okay, great. Thank you so much. Okay, moving on to item number 8, discussion items. We have the April DCA monthly report for information.
President Palmer, Claudia, if you would please go to section 1, summary of work. I'll highlight a few items associated with the work we've performed during the month of March 2023. Beginning first with the program management activities. We're continuing to process as we would, as you're very well aware, all of our task orders, invoices, amendments, purchase orders for the current fiscal year. At the same time, we've started our budget development and preparation for next fiscal year, 23-24. And we do intend to bring a draft of that budget to the board meeting in May. So we do have a set of meetings monthly here as we approach the end of the fiscal year, and we will be reviewing that draft budget next month. In terms of the administration activities, continue all the support to conduct the meetings. I hope things are going well today. I do appreciate all the work that the team has done to set up for the remote boardroom participation, and just want to acknowledge that this really does seem to be working very well. So do appreciate all the efforts there. The engineering team continues to focus primarily on their support to the Department of Water Resources, Delta Conveyance Office permitting efforts. This is responding to any request from the DCO regarding clarifications around the concept designs, GIS systems, other quantities, as you know, all the information that's been developed by the DCA. We continue to help respond to and sort through that information, supporting DWR's permits. Additionally, there's a fair amount of work right now for the last round or this calendar year's geotechnical work that we're doing under the ISM&D. This is to support DWR's consideration of alternatives and to better develop a Delta-wide understanding of subsurface conditions. So the engineering team is working closely with the fieldwork team to assign the investigation programs, locations, testing types, et cetera. And that work will be ongoing through the rest of this calendar year. Claudia, if we could go next to section 2. So I just wanted to highlight, there's a link actually within the document that is being highlighted there for what's called the Closer Look series. These are a series of 1 or 2 page documents that focus on various features and concepts critical within the Delta Conveyance project. And those documents are now available for anyone to review and use. I think they're a really fantastic set of documents that just kind of take a little bit of a dive into various subjects, but do it in a way that's, you know, something that you can sit down and digest pretty quickly. So those links are available, the links are live, and those materials are available to the public. So yes, if we could jump now to section 3, Claudia. So to reflect now on our current budget, we have an approved fiscal year 22-23 budget of 31.16 million. We've currently committed just over 30 million. Right now incurred to date, we're still tracking a bit under our projections for the year. So right now we're sitting at incurred to date of just over 15 million. We are starting to show a positive variance. So this is an underrun for the year. Right now we're at about 2 million, but I do expect as we get closer to the end of the fiscal year that this variance will continue to grow. Although I do also expect that as we approach the spring investigation program, which is starting kind of now, is starting to really ramp up and will be more so in May and June, that we will make up for some of that, the kind of positive hole that we've been working with. If you could go, Claudia, to the cash flow, I think it's better explained visually. So here on the cash flow figure, you can see the projected or planned in the tall blue bars and the actuals in the yellow bars. You know, as typical, we lag a little bit with our invoicing processes. So you can see that March and April really aren't reflecting the total actuals that will eventually incur, but those are coming in and working their way through the system. We had some months in November, December, where we were very close to planned. But then we have other months throughout the year where our performance is definitely under financially what was planned. This is where I would say we will start to pick up in April, May, and June and start to likely show actuals that more closely match planned as the fieldwork teams really start to come back online and continue their push. That's largely what accounts for November, December. We had a pretty active couple of months there in terms of the investigation work. So now let's go ahead and jump to schedule. So now this is just our fiscal year schedule, identifying the sort of the key different divisions of work going on with our program support activities that just continue on through the fiscal year. Our engineering activities, we're a bit behind on something we labeled as project definition reports, but that is intended when we lay these plans out at the beginning of the year. You know, sometimes they don't always go according to plan. And at this point, the project definition reports are something that we will start working on in terms of templates and examples, but it's really getting ready for when and if DWR comes and recommends a final project within the EIR, that we're ready to jump and start transitioning over into the engineering documentation for the preferred project. For field work, this is just tracking that we have all the field work programs. We already completed the summer and fall 22 programs. The spring 23 is just about to commence. We did have a little bit of a delay launching into the spring 23 program because of the weather that we've been experiencing in California and in Northern California, and the river conditions were relatively high, the runoff conditions relatively high. It's just taken, it's an intentional delay in the start of that work to just kind of let those conditions settle out and, do the right thing in terms of getting out there and performing the work. So that is my summary, President Palmer, but would be happy to answer any questions.
Have any questions from the board? Yes, go ahead.
Thank you for your report, Graham. I do have a question about the underrun budget or schedule wise on the project definition reports. Is this also reflective of the amount of money we've spent on project definition reports? Are those two tracking each other well, or are we
They are,
money and not making the progress? It's not-
no, I understand. No, the expenditures on that task do match the progress. We went through a pretty extensive effort at the beginning of this calendar year to reassess where we were with all the various work items. And in fact, we ended up pulling back a fair amount of funding that was authorized to do those reports and put it back into unallocated reserve to see if we would need it elsewhere within the program. So that's what we're starting to daylight now as underruns in terms of our projections. And as we get closer to the end of the fiscal year, those become increasingly more definitive. But right now we are showing, that's a large part of where that positive variance is coming from.
President Palmer, this is Director Anatoly. I have a question, if I may.
Yes, Don Octavi and then Director Chang.
Thank you. Yeah, thank you, Graham. On your schedule, you have the intended delay of the spring program for the geotech work. I know that some of that was due to conditions, but we're still going to probably expect to see better than average conditions given the snowpack we've seen. I'm curious if you're at all concerned about any delays in completing that work as we kind of march through the year.
At this point, I don't have any major concerns. I think we had to make a decision at the beginning of April based on the conditions that were occurring then. We were still getting a fair amount of precipitation. It's been a very cold spring so far. So we thought it prudent to just delay a little bit and let the sun come out. It's starting to come out and the weather has shifted. I do agree, though, that we are still we'll still be watching the river conditions and forecasts related to runoff and snow melt, but I don't anticipate any major delays at this point associated with the weather.
Thank you.
More runoff than we've been used to. Yeah. Okay, Director Chang.
Thanks, President Palmer. I think this question is going to be a little bit of follow on, perhaps to the other one. So it sounds like, Graham, if I'm understanding you correctly, you deliberately delayed the some of the field work just because of the conditions. So I think what I heard was you don't think that there's going to be a delay to the overall schedule from this this sort of shifting of schedules. And then I would think that some of the costs that are incurred with this delay would be kind of pushed to next year's budget. Do I have that correct?
Yes, you're correct. The work that we're planning to start on May 1st and some of the clearance activities have already begun. We're not going to be able to finish all of the work this fiscal year. So when we get to the June timeframe, we will de-scope that work out of the task orders that are providing those services and roll that scope and budget over to the next fiscal year. But it'll be above and beyond the FY 23-24 budget that we're working on now. This really is conceptually money and scope that we'll just be adding on top of that and rolling from the current fiscal year.
Thank you.
Anything else from the board?
One last question for Graham. And certainly we're fortunate that this subsurface investigation is right in your professional expertise. So we're fortunate to have that, but I wanted to ask, I haven't seen any data. If it's there, maybe I haven't just overlooked it. The actual work that's been done, is that tracking well with the budget amounts that were estimated to perform the work? Are we able to get the work done for the budgeted amounts that as we go?
So the work that we've been performing under the ISM&D to support DWR's evaluations, we've been very much on track in terms of the work we intended to accomplish and the costs associated with that work. There will come at a later point, much more extensive design level investigations if there is a project that moves forward. And that will, that will be a kind of a very different situation, I would expect. Right now, we're getting on the order of 50 to 60, maybe around that, investigation points per year. It would need quite a bit more to focus on the design of the project facilities. Right now, we're collecting data, across the Delta, really filling in data gaps where there really isn't much known information, helping to validate assumptions through the conceptual designs. All of that is moving along as scheduled and very much on budget.
Thank you, Ram.
Anybody else from the board? No? Okay, then do we have any public comment on this?
President Palmer, we have not received any requests.
Okay, fine. Thank you so much. And thank you for that run through. That's great. All right, then let's get to staff reports, General Counsel's report.
President Palmer, my report is in the packet and I'd be happy to answer any questions. I did want to note one thing that actually isn't in the report, and just maybe a preview for future reports. As you may be aware from your member agency boards, there are a number of bills pending the legislature that would again make some modifications to the Brown Act and maybe provide some additional flexibility, especially to large multi-agency boards like this one. We're watching those very closely. And it's a little early in the process to provide sort of a full update on those because we're not sure which ones will have legs or move forward. But we are watching those, and once it looks like there may be some movement on a couple of those bills, we'll make sure to bring them to this board for briefing. Thank you.
I don't think it's going to make it more stringent and more difficult than it is now?
As proposed, no.
No, okay, thank you so much. Okay, thank you. Next, we have a treasurer's report.
Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for this opportunity to present, but today I am actually not going to present because I didn't know I was going to make it. So I had delegated it to our controller, Bernadette Robertson, and she will present today.
Okay.
Yes,
Are you ready?
Yes, thank you, Katana.
Thank you.
Thank you for this opportunity to present the DCA's Treasurer Monthly Report. So this report covers activities for February and March 2023. As of February 1st, the beginning cash balance was $951,675. For the 2 months, we have received about $4.5 million of contributions from the Department of Water Resources, of which we have we paid invoices of about $4.9 million, leaving us with a cash balance of $562,514 as of March 31. Also, as of that date, we have receivables totaling about $3.4 million from the DWR, and we have payables invoices outstanding of about $3.1 million. For that same period, we also have $800,000 of advances that we've received from DWR that we use to prepay or advance pay some of our invoices. And our total net position is about $147,000. Attachment 1 consists of the financial statements for the 2 months and the schedule of invoices that were paid through March 2023, as well as the aging schedules of accounts payable and accounts receivable as of March 31 as well. And that concludes my report. Please let me know if you have any questions.
Thank you very much, Ms. Robertson. Do we have any questions from the board? On Zoom? In the room? Okay, not. Do we have
Thank you.
any public comment?
Thank you,
Okay,
Bernadette.
thank you so much, both of you.
Thank
Okay.
you.
All right, then moving right along, we are getting to the environmental managers report.
Thank you, President Palmer. My update is in the board report. Generally, we are continuing to work on the final EIR. We're responding to comments both through a set of common responses that respond to multiple comments that are on one theme, recurring comments, as well as comments to each individual or responses to each individual comment received. So that is underway, and our objective is to have the final EIR complete at the end of this year. The Corps of Engineers is working on a similar process. Their comment period closed in March, so they are still working to organize and collect all of their comment letters and start the response to comment process. They're running a little bit behind where we are because their comment period closed a little later.
Any questions from the board on this? Nope. On Zoom? Nope. All right, and public comment?
No public comment requests.
Thank you very much. Okay, then we have any verbal reports. Who has a verbal report? Anybody? Go for it.
Thank you for the opportunity. I just want to express my public appreciation of the staff, Graham and Palmer Water Resources. I had an opportunity to tour the sites 3 weeks ago in preparation for my state water tour. And, you know, we had tribal liaisons spend time with us. So it was really a great opportunity to put my feet on the ground of the Delta Conveyance Project site. So much appreciation to all of you for coordinating that. It was eye-opening and very informative and educational, and makes me a better ambassador for the work that we do here. So thank you.
For the rest of us, we're very fortunate to have you with us now. So thank you. Okay, great. Anybody else? Yes, go.
Real quick, President Palmer, I just wanted to thank Claudia and the IT staff for this successful first in-person remote hybrid meeting. It's really, seems to me it's gone off pretty well. And it's going to offer all of us the opportunity to come when we can and stay near home when we can. So, and it didn't happen easily, I don't think. So
It's still happening.
thank you all.
Thank you. Yeah, I can honestly say that I was a little nervous today, just wanting to make sure that we did have a successful meeting. So thank you.
Folks have put a lot of work into this, and I know you still have some work to do with my group, but but it is much appreciated. It's really running well. Okay, then any other verbal reports? Director Chen.
Yeah, thanks, President Palmer. Let's see. So I think everybody might have heard the tremendous news today that DWR put out a release that, you know, I lose track of time, but since 2006, 17 years ago, you know, this is the first time that we've actually gotten 100% state water project allocation. And I think while, you know, this is great news, you know, for me, it reemphasizes the importance of this particular tunnel project, you know, because, you know, we need a way to convey, you know, this water, you know, during these times. So, you know, just I think most of us are still in shock of the number that, you know, was reported today. I think most of us are kind of looking around in disbelief. But anyways, you know, I think this just reemphasizes, you know, that the hydrology is good, but you have to have a way of transporting it and storing it, you know, where it's beneficial.
Mm-hmm. Thank you for that. I'll just add to that a little bit, because as the season has progressed, everybody kept saying, are we out of the drought yet? Are we out of the drought yet? And I really hesitated to say, yes, we're out of the drought. And temporarily, yes, we are out of the drought, but we have to remember this is California, and we go through a lot of changes, and with climate change and uncertainties and extremes, we still have to keep planning for the future. So this is a project which needs to be part of that, all of the above. So let us continue with it. And you guys, I'm just so pleased to be part of what you guys really carry off and do. So that's pretty amazing. So thank you for that. I think ultimately, even though it is still highly controversial, if we can finally get this going, all of California will say, oh yeah, that was really a good idea. It's a good thing we did that. So let's hope we're looking at that future right there. Do we have any public comment?
President Palmer, we do not.
Great. Not great, but good. Any items for future agenda? Board members, anything you'd like to see on future agenda items? No? Anybody on Zoom? I don't want to leave you guys out. Okay, great. Well, this has been really wonderful because of your work that you guys have made it possible to conduct our meetings in this way. Seems to have worked out very well for everybody, and thank you so much. And on that, I got the gavel and I'm gonna go. We're adjourned.